Hello, everyone. Today we got to play The Hunger by Richard Garfield.
Another of our Halloween games.
Yes, super exciting. We got to play as vampires going across the country and trying to gather our substance. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because you like board games and that's what we do here. Tell us more about this particular game, Randy.
All right. Well, this was a Gen Con release. It was 2021 release. Rating is 7.4 on Board Game Geek. The rank currently is 8454. It's a 2 to 6 player game. Lasts roughly 60 minutes, which is about right. Age is 12 and up. Probably okay. Maybe a little younger could play it, but it depends on
well, also the content.
Yeah,
right? So this is heavy.
Well,
like
I mean, it's
vampire,
cartoonish,
yeah.
but if you're not into the vampires, it could be you may have personal issues with that as far as the
as for anything younger.
Designed by Richard Garfield, who's well known for Magic the Gathering and lots of other good games he's made over the years. Art is Marta Ivanova and Jocelyn Millet, and published by Renegade Games.
And Origami Games.
Yeah, and I believe this has actually been released at stores now too. I think this is available retail.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's get into it. So let's talk about quality of pieces. Board's nice and shiny.
Well, actually, I don't care for shiny boards, but it's two-sided. There's an A and a B side.
It seems really thick.
It is thick, but it's two-sided. It doesn't lay fully flat, but it's not too bad.
It didn't affect anything.
The A side is for beginners, but
are we on the A side?
No, we're on the B because the B side was for the standard.
Maybe
game.
You needed it.
Thanks. It probably would have been good just in the sense that we would have gotten a better feel. It wouldn't matter. I would have died where I was anyway, but we would have gotten a better feel for the urgency of getting back to the starting point. But if you choose to play the beginner rules, there's a few variants, but we played with the standard game, which is on the B side. As far as the quality, they've got screen printed wooden pieces.
Yeah, those were kind of nice. You've got some pretty thick cardboard chits, some other cardboard chits. Card quality, no linen finish, but they are pretty thick. I think they're all right.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go ahead and sleeve these. They did leave room in the box for sleeved cards, which is
smart.
Good. So, yeah, I think that quality-wise, I'm probably about a 7.
That's what I was thinking, 7. I mean, everything is totally functional. There's just nothing wow as far as pieces goes. Now let's talk about theme. I mean, heck, you're a vampire, you're going traveling. I like the fact that you can go after religious people, you can go after the military, you can go up with your standard worker. You can feast on.
And they have familiars.
People. Yeah, and you got different familiars, and you're trying to get the eternal rose, right? No, I actually kind of like the theme quite a bit.
I like they did different regions where you get the cemetery, the mountains, the plains, the forests. You can even go traveling the boats in the ocean. I like the way they've set it up. You can only hunt in certain locations for humans. And it's a race. You've got 15 rounds and the game's over no matter what.
You're thinking 15 rounds. That's quite a bit. That's what you think.
Yeah, especially if you're greedy like me. So,
yes.
The thing is, you get points for hunting humans. You get points for trying to get to the end and grabbing the rose, but none of that matters if you don't make it back to the castle because when the sun comes up, you burn up.
Yeah. So the theme is, I actually kind of really like this theme. The art is spot on. I love it. It's cartoonish, so it's a little. You can play it with family, so it's not like horror, like ugly horror, but it still gives you a nice feel to it, so it's not depressing.
And it has a purple with a female who's redhead, which was
yes,
for you.
I love being Lady Beatrix. What are you talking about? Like, don't judge us. No, so theme-wise, I think this is spot on. I love the theme.
Yeah, I think it's a very fun vampire theme. I'm not a big vampire person.
You're not.
But this one I thought was a fun theme. It was very fun.
With the artwork, what are you at?
I'm probably going to give this a 9 as far as themes.
Good, because that's where I was, and I was like, I feel like maybe I like this too much, but I'm at a 9.
I like the theme of this. I mean, I honestly, even though I burned up, I like the idea that you have to race before sunlight to get back to the castle, or at least the cemetery, where you can hide within a coffin or something,
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool idea.
Which is what I had to do, hide in the cemetery. No, I thought that was fun. So then let's talk about Rulebook.
All right, so the Rulebook is a little confusing. It's, let's see, how many pages was it? 6, 7, 8 pages. It's not bad length. There's no cheat sheets. That's the biggest grievance. It would have been nice to have had the iconography on a cheat sheet. The iconography is on the back, most of it, but then when you look inside, there's the board effects and the turn order stuff. That's all inside. So we had to refer to the rulebook a lot just to make sure we were getting the right person's turn, because there's a turn order priority based upon what region you're in, and if you're in the same region, then which road you're on or which path you're on. All of that is contained in the book and not on a cheat card. It would have been good to have a cheat card for it. There were a few things that were kind of buried in here. One of the things I didn't like is they used the rookie mode, the A side. They had a blue font at the beginning for that to differentiate what was different about the rookie mode. But then later on, they used the blue font to be just a separate side note on all the rules. So it was very hard to tell, is this something that only relates to playing it in side A rookie mode, or is it something that's actually relevant to all across?
I can see that being an issue, yeah.
There was some confusion as I was reading the rules because they chose that same standard.
Yeah.
So they didn't stay consistent at all in it. Apart from that, it's got a lot of very pretty art in it, a lot of nice sections to the rule book. As a result, I think I'm going to give it a 6.5 is where I'm at. I think there's enough detraction in it, and the fact that it didn't have cheat cards where you didn't have to keep using the rule book. But yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but it could have been a lot better.
Okay, cool. All right, so now let's talk about gameplay. So gameplay is pretty straightforward. You have a deck of cards. You flip over 3 of them, and you expose them. Everyone can see those cards. Up here at the top, that is your movement speed. So you're going to calculate your movement. There will also be special benefits down here. You'll see if those apply too. And then you calculate them. So for example, I have 5 movement this round but I do have a human. So this card actually moves from 1 to 3. So now I have 3, 4, 5, 6 movement.
But before you do that, any cards that let you draw or discard are resolved first.
Right, correct. So I have 6, and then I can choose to move. All right, so if I end up moving and land on a well, I can actually end up hunting twice. So in this matter, if I move 3 and then I have 3 left, I can choose to hunt 1 from the 2 and 1 from the 1, and that would be considered. Now, I could land on a blood icon. A blood icon allows me to pick up a stack and let me choose one of that out of the stack and take those. These can be either instant effects or they can be end of game victory points, and they range, and it kind of gives you a direction.
Yeah, well, instant effect is a one-time effect. It's not necessarily instant.
Right.
You don't have to play it immediately, but you can
right.
trigger
It's a
it once
one-time.
per game.
Yeah, it's a one-time effect. And then there are chest icons, which gives you a special little token that you can use for later. It gives you 2 victory points and something else on the other side. Yes. Now, the one thing and then the others, one other icon of basically where you can digest people. If you land on this icon, you can actually take stuff out of your hand. It's basically the destroy function, but you still get the victory points for those cards.
Most of the humans are 0 or negative movement.
Kind of rough.
So if you get them like I did, and I get a ton of them, you're going to end up finding yourself situations where you can't move, which is a real problem.
Yeah, you almost kind of want to get to the rows and then meander on your way back, depending on time frame.
Yeah, I was very full by the time I got my rows,
yeah,
and then I came back and got stuck.
Well, you
really
weren't
badly.
very full because you hadn't had time to digest them all.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. So I think we put a little too much stress on gathering. But then
I was
also
hungry. I mean,
well, but
it's
at
called
the same
hunger.
time, like knowing that it was going to clutter my hand, I ended up getting a bunch of familiars which don't go into your hand, which helped me out significantly because I had.
Well, I had a bunch of familiars. They were just in-game bonus victory points or along the way victory points. They were nothing to give me abilities. They were all just points.
Well, so
that's just
were
why
mine.
My score was way above yours, but it doesn't matter because I died.
Right. So, so that was, yes. So that was very interesting that, it is a deck builder.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize how much until you're kind of there.
Yeah, and I love that some of the cards, like some of the characters have like spicy, where you eat them and then you have to rush to a well because your mouth is burning when you ate the person. And then there's other ones that have like the holy water where you can't hunt if you get them in your hand. There's I love those penalties you get for when you choose. You get a perk because there are lots of victory points in many cases, but you get a penalty that goes along with it. So that was a cool aspect of the game.
This game.
I did too.
I like that it had a race component because you get gluttonous on victory points, and so I might actually win this on occasion. We actually have a pretty good win ratio. But no, I think that this will be interesting because you'll have to kind of.
Oh yeah, because I wanted to get as many points as possible, but then I got after playing it the first time, I now realize I can't eat everything I want. I got to get back to the castle. So there's got to be a balance. I probably should have just foregone the rows and just rushed back before I ever got to the rows.
You don't have to get the rows?
No, you just have to get back to the castle. Whatever points you've accumulated along the way are your bonus.
Oh,
but the rows is.
I just thought I had to get the rows.
No, you don't have to.
Oh.
You just you cannot win if you don't make it back.
What's funny though is that we got the rows at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I had a lot more food along the way.
Yeah.
And that was my problem. I had a ton of humans that came up at the end where I couldn't move. And not to mention that spicy killed me because I had to rush to a well that was behind me because you have to go to the nearest well.
Well, I gotta admit, I didn't really complain when you kept getting that.
Yeah. That hurt. And then once I got it and I got 0s to 2s on movement, that really hurt because it took me 3 turns to get to the well.
Guess what? Try to get some movement. No. Great game. I liked it. Give it a score.
I mean, I really enjoyed the fun factor of this game a lot. And I think it's only going to get better with more players. I mean, we played it with 2, which is always not
Dude, but it was
a
solid game for 2.
Yeah.
This was fine. And you know what, though? The race component will be more interesting with more. And with more people, you'll do a lot more bouncing, which I thought that was we didn't go over that mechanic. So basically, say if I've got whatever movement, and I decide 1, 2, 3, I need this space. I can either push him forward or push him back and take his spot.
Well, yeah, you get to stay there anyway. So you would end up on top of me and then you would go before me because you're on top of me.
But I can choose.
But you can choose to bump me.
Which is great though because I did that and listen, a space could I almost didn't make it. Neither one of us almost won. I was short 1 space.
Well, it also impacts turn order, which is the big factor. So if you bump whoever's furthest from the castle on the given path goes first. So if you bumped me behind you, then you're furthest so the next turn you will get the first option at moving and drafting or choosing from the hunt.
But at the same time, but I can push you further, make it harder for you to do whatever you're trying to do. I think with more players you'll see that a lot more and that will be interesting. Yeah. Because you'll be like, you evil thing.
Yeah, and the thing is whenever I was going through the rules, I was like, is there anything about 2-player that you have to adjust for? Because there's a lot of games that you do. There's nothing in this one. The only thing is if you have 5 or 6 players, there's some additional of these missions that you add. That's the only adjustment. So 2 to 4 players is exactly the same.
No, this is great. This played very well as a 2-player, and I can see it only getting better. So for that, give it a score.
I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think that's where I'm at.
Really?
Yeah. I liked it.
I don't know if I want to give it a 9 or not. There was heavy enjoyment in this game. I mean, it's not one of those heavy games that I typically do, but it's a nice deck builder. It's a really nice deck builder. I really liked the theme. It had a lot of fun to it. 8.75. I'm sure it's a 9, but I think it's more than an 8.5. We're counting pennies here, okay? Yeah. No, this is a good, solid game. I definitely think this would be a good collection.
Yeah.
Put in your collection.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We enjoyed having you, and hopefully you'll come visit us again. Bye.
Bye.